yourself, my friend, is this the end of the beginning, or the beginning of the end?
Now, take a minute and just listen to me, spectator. When you first came here to Murgatroyd, your agreement with the Conclave was to stay out of human affairs. I'm not saying I agree with them in their decision to give you the boot, but I do understand how and why they came to their decision. You just need to face the music and deal with it. Deal with it, spectator.
Oh, for Christ's sake, Cassandra. Lieutenant Skitters, now Commander Skitters, is probably one of the only decent human beings I've even met or observed while I've been here in Murgatroyd. And look at what we're dealing with. You've got two universes at war with each other. You've got this maniacal King Pedestrian here, hell-bent on annihilating and destroying the other universe, and possibly this one in the process, I might remind you. And then on the other side, the place is overrun with vampires in the parallel universe. I mean, come on. The merge is the best thing that could happen. And I've tried to warn these people that it's going to happen. I've decided there's no way to stop the merge. There's no way to prevent it. And it's better than both universes just going up in flames and utter catastrophe. And that's what the war between the universes ultimately will end up in. I mean, now the universe can survive. I mean, the handwriting is on the wall.
So maybe you are beginning to come to your senses. Just let whatever is supposed to happen, happen. Don't meddle with destiny. Stop trying to play God. Just watch and observe and keep your distance. You can't fix the multiverse, it's way too big and too complex. Just try to enjoy eternity. It's really not that difficult if you just start letting go. Relax, spectator.
This King Pedestrian's having a son by this woman he thought out after 70 years. What was she, some sort of an SS officer, interrogation officer back under the Third Reich or something? In cryogenic freeze for 70 years, he revives her, now she's pregnant. I mean, come on. This whole damn thing is the stuff of tabloids. Everything that's happened since I got here has been the stuff of tabloids. I mean, the paper doll race, Fleshy the paper doll, this wooden creature. First he tore up Murgatroyd, the Murgatroyd serial killer at one point burned down half of Murgatroyd. I mean, yes, the human race is overrun with loonies, and now King Pedestrian's in charge of this dadgum universe. Come on now. I don't know what to say, Cassandra.
Well then, just don't say anything. Keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything, don't do anything. And maybe if you're lucky I can go to the next council meeting and put in a good word with the Conclave, and maybe, just maybe, they will let you back in. For God's sake, it's worth a shot. I'm willing to go to bat for you, but you have to chill out and stay quiet, spectator. Just keep quiet, please, please, please.
Just ask yourself, my friend, is this the end of the beginning, or the beginning of the end?
On today's episode of the Imogene Slokowski Show, Imogene interviews Murgatroyd's own Blatson, the artist, recently arrived from the parallel universe to replace his slain counterpart. And here comes Imogene.
Hello everybody, Imogene here, visually impaired but curiously bare and fully aware. Welcome back CRZY listeners and all viewers. Today, thank you for joining the session. We want to just thank you for even stopping by, and we will not blame you for cutting out. Today we are going to be interviewing the world famous, by now, Blaston. So, we're sorry for the inconvenience that this may pose to you. That being said, Blaston, you know I have nothing positive for you at all in this world. I only have for me and my fellow listeners and watchers. Alright? Why did you leave your corner of your own other universe to come here to live your double's life, who was so bad at living that he got killed by the Murgatroyd serial killer? What on earth? What made you do that and come here to live that life?
Well, you've never ever had anything for me, Imogene. You've insulted my double back when he was the greatest artist who ever lived, which I will be now. And when they told me they were sending you down here from CRZ, well, I almost didn't consent to this interview, but then I thought the gravity of my situation warranted it, even if it had to be you here interviewing me. I'm not enjoying this any more than you are, the way you have always insulted my double, my counterpart. I've looked at the videos of you trashing his art. You should be ashamed of yourself. I am the greatest artist who ever lived, and I am filling his footsteps. I left the other universe because it's rampant with vampirism, and over here I can succeed and flourish and become the greatest artist that ever lived, which I already am. But this whole universe hasn't experienced my greatness, and you laugh and you make fun of my counterpart, who was so viciously slain by that Murgatroyd serial killer, who I might add used to taunt you right there at the station. You're very lucky you've escaped his devices, but be that as it may, I will triumph over those who espouse hatred, those who would, like Uncle Frank and his redneck hillbillyism.
As for you almost turning me down, they shelled bucks for me to be here today, hon. Let me fill you in there. Clear that air and the funk around it. Now, I'm gonna let your statement lie. That was a very responsive answer to the question that we posed you, to find out why you came here. To be the greatest artist that ever lived. Well, you picked the wrong shoes to fill, in my own personal opinion, because that's not the greatest one to ever live. Each their own choices, eh, Blaston? Now, we do have one more question that we need answered before we just conclude this entire just wasted moment, other than for curious minds want to know. We all here at Murgatroyd and at CRZY have to know, what on earth were you thinking by not only choosing to do a piece of art on and about our beloved Uncle Frank, but depicting him in such a, what could be the word that would aptly describe, let's see here. Oh, I believe I did write it down. Derogatory nature. In such a slanderous and derogatory nature, our beloved Uncle Frank.
I expose him for the lecher that he is. It's good that Atsuki left him.
Would you say you're not a lech yourself? Be careful who you decide to call. Be careful whenever the pot calls the kettle black, hun. It never changes and never works out. So always make sure that you polish yours before you go and try and tarnish theirs.
They'll clean him out, and I'll have millions of dollars from that father-in-law of his too, that Fudiki Hiramoto, who owns the paper doll factory.
Well, that does remain to be seen, Blasting. That does remain to be seen. Well, CRZY, there you have it. There are the only two questions that I felt the need to even ask. And here are your answers for you to go ahead and carry on with that knowledge. As for them millions blasting, you have fun and good luck with that. Thank you, CRZY listeners and viewers. We appreciate your patience. Stay tuned for our next episode. That way you can come back to something better.
So, Lieutenant Deckers, I come all the way from London to this remote little flat town just to help you catch a strangler. I can tell you right now that your profile's all wrong. The reason he attacks the elderly women is because he was terribly abused by his grandmother. And the reason you've never seen his face on any camera is because his face is injured or scarred somehow. Probably by the grandmother. And I'll tell you one more thing. He won't quit. He'll not stop killing until he is himself either caught or killed.
We're so glad to have you back here to help us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For 7 long years, a sadistic strangler has preyed upon defenseless elderly women in Flat Town. Now Anastasia Bellini brings this terror to the screen in The Flat Town Strangler.
Office today released the name of the 2 elderly victims discovered early this morning by police on the outskirts of Flat Town in a heavily wooded area near a creek. The 2 women, both in their 70s, had been strangled to death sometime between 3 in the morning and approximately 5 a.m. early yesterday.
This unknown, unidentified killer still remains at large. Still uncaptured.
At the Murgatroyd Triple Flex Theater. Don't watch this movie alone. No one under 35 admitted.
It's great to be back home, Murgatroyd. Welcome back, your native son, the Murgatroyd serial